This lecture is lecture number 13 in 13th week, part A. We learn about jQuery, and this is JavaScript library. And here we can access there, here, and among these JavaScript, here after this JavaScript tutorial, we just finished this JavaScript in last lecture, and in this week we'll learn about this jQuery. Here let's look at this left menu. This is jQuery tutorial, and in this lecture we learn about this one, jQuery home, and after this jQuery effects in this week, and probably in the next week we are supposed to learn about this jQuery HTML. After that jQuery traversing, and if we have enough time then we will complete this jQuery Ajax, then we can finish this semester. Probably this one is until here, that will be the final exam scope. Let's start from this jQuery tutorial. jQuery is a JavaScript library, and this one is simplifying JavaScript programming, and this one is easy to learn, and this one is some example. This one is showing some examples in each chapter as we learn in other tutorials for HTML and the CSS, JavaScript. Similarly, this jQuery, this one is showing some examples in each chapter. And let's look at this example, this real example. This is very simple example using jQuery. Here, this one is JavaScript area, and this is JavaScript code, but this one is using jQuery, and this one is jQuery, and we are using that jQuery, and simply we can use that library method, and we learn. And to use that jQuery, we need to use this jQuery file, and we should bring that from this site. This is providing jQuery, that is JavaScript library, and then now that is JavaScript file, and this one is brought from this URL, and this one is provided by this Google, and we learn about it here. Let's click this one. If you click want me, I'll disappear. Let's click with your mouse. You can click this one, then you can see this one will be gone away, and next one I will click again, then also that will be gone away, and finally this one will be also disappeared. And that hiding is possible with this hide method, and this is the object that was selected, clicked, that is the object, and that clicked object that will be hidden, and this one is jQuery. This one is using that, and we learn about it. That P paragraph, that is selected, and after that will be gone away. Let's try to click again here. There are three paragraphs here, three p pairs, p elements here, and in this body area, and here we are using this JavaScript. Also here we are using jQuery library, jQuery, and if I am clicking this one, then that will be selected, that p element will be selected. And that selected one, that will be hidden using this jQuery method. Before that, we should use this one, and we'll learn about it. Also, this one is checking document object, whether that is ready or not, with this ready event. If that is ready, that is a kind of event, then this function can be executed. After that is checked whether that is ready or not. If that is ready, then this one will be executed. Okay, we learn. In next contents. Okay, you can try these exercises. Also, this one is explaining about that structure that is similar to the other tutorial. This one is showing some examples and some quiz test and some references about jQuery. And let's move to the next chapter. Okay, this one is introduction chapter about jQuery. The main purpose of jQuery is to make it much easier to use JavaScript on your website using library. We'll learn about this jQuery, but before that we should be ready, and we are ready probably because we finished already, we learned them already. We should have a basic knowledge about this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this sequence we learned, and finally we are learning JavaScript library, that is jQuery. What is jQuery? jQuery is lightweight, write less, do more JavaScript library. And the purpose of jQuery is to make it much easier to use JavaScript on our website. And with this one, we can do a lot of common tasks that require many lines of JavaScript code to accomplish it. And simply we can implement using this JavaScript library, that is jQuery. Because this jQuery simplifies a lot of the complicated things from JavaScript, and we can do this manipulation of DOM as well as AJAX, and we'll learn this AJAX later. But anyhow, we can simply use a little bit more complicated functionality using this jQuery library. This jQuery library contains the following features, and with this jQuery library we can manipulate HTML DOM, and also we can do this CSS manipulation. Also, event method we can implement using jQuery library, and effects and animations, and some others. Why we are using jQuery? Because many companies, biggest companies, they are using jQuery like Google and Microsoft, IBM, Netflix. Those are using jQuery. And in terms of the compatibility or cross-browser issues, this jQuery is applicable to any kinds of browser, and this jQuery library, this jQuery team is implementing that cross-browser issues to be able to learn in easy way. jQuery will run exactly the same in all major browsers. Later, we learn about them a little more in detail. Let's move to the next chapter. Then, how to use this jQuery in our web page. First, we can download this jQuery library from the jQuery.com website. And in another way, we can include this jQuery library JavaScript file from a content distribution network like Google CDN, that is called CDN. Acronym is the CDN, that is Content Delivery Network or Content Distribution Network. First, we can download this jQuery from this jQuery.com website, and there are two kinds. One is uncompressed file and another one is compressed file. Let's look at after clicking this one. You can see this is jQuery.com website. Here we can download compressed one or uncompressed one. We can download, and the most recent version is 3.5.1. One is compressed file and another one is uncompressed file, and it will be enough to download them. One maybe among these, one file may be enough, but let's look at the difference between them. This compressed one is showing this one. There's some comments and some redundant characters. Those are eliminated to compress, to make it compact in terms of the size. This one is probably the size is 88 KB. This compressed one, the size from this one until the end, that file size is 88 KB. Let's move to the next. And okay, let's go back. Then we can see uncompressed one. This one is the same one, but this one is containing some comments to make it understand better during our development using this jQuery and JavaScript. And this one is uncompressed one. That means this one is containing some comment statement like this, also like this, and some spaces like that, some line break to make it readable by the programmer. And the whole size of this file, uncompressed one, this one is, the size is 281 KB. Thus, this size is over probably 3 times bigger than the compressed one. The size is 281 KB and the compressed one is 88 KB. Okay, that may be enough to understand the difference between them. Anyone we can use to execute jQuery using that library method in our JavaScript file. Okay, let's read this one first. The jQuery library is a single JavaScript file, and we refer to that here in this way. In this script, we are referring to that file here in this src attribute, and that is the URL for that. If we need the full URL, then we should specify that full URL, including that HTTP protocol and some path name, domain name, path name, and so on. If that is downloaded already in our file, that means that is stored in the same folder, then we can omit some prefixes. For example, some file name or path name we can eliminate, and simply we can specify the file name here. That is JavaScript file. There's place the downloaded file in the same directory or same folder as the pages where we wish to use it. And let's look at this CDN. This is Contents Delivery Network. And this one is usually provided by the Google or Microsoft. We can download from the CDN. Because CDN, that is spread in the world, thus we can download from the nearest server, then the download time will be very fast enough. This one is the example of the Google CDN, and this one is the URL, Google URL, and we can download from there. And this is the final file name, and this is the full URL for that. If we are using the file from CDN, then we can specify that in the source attribute as the value for that. Then we can use that jQuery. After that, we can use the jQuery method. Those are belonging to jQuery method. And here we can hide. If I am clicking this one, then I can hide. And how they can be hidden? Here, let's look at these basic elements in this body area. And we are using this head. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay, here, this is the original web page. We are using H2, this one, and the paragraph, 2 paragraphs here, and finally button here. And if I am clicking this one, then click event, that is happening here. And this one, if I am clicking, then this function, this button is clicked, that means this button, that object is clicked, then this function will be executed. This function is doing something about that hiding. P elements, those are selected. Those objects are selected. Thus, this is called the selector. And after that, we can use that jQuery method. We can hide them. Thus, these 2 selected paragraphs, they will be hidden like this. And we'll learn about them a little more in detail here, probably in the next chapter. Let's read this one first. This is some comments about the jQuery. One big advantage of using the hosted jQuery. This is about the CDN from Google CDN. And because that is worldwide spread, thus we can get some file in easy way, and the time will be very fast in terms of loading time. Okay, this one is the syntax of using jQuery. And jQuery, we can select or query HTML elements, and we can perform some actions on them. And this is the syntax for that. First, we should be familiar with this $. jQuery syntax is using this $, and after that, that is the selector. Anyhow, we need to select some elements. After that, we can apply this method to execute, and that execution is applied only to the selected elements. Thus, we need some mechanism how to select. This is the way. This $, after that selector, then we can select some element, then we can apply this method. This is jQuery method. Here, this one is explaining about that. This $, is used to define or access jQuery. This one. And this selector, this parenthesis, and this selector and the parenthesis, this one is to query or find or search, select HTML elements. After that, this jQuery action, and that will be performed on that selected element. Thus, if we are using in this way, and this one is selector, and this object means the current element. Usually this means the current object, and the object itself, that is this one is the current object usually, and this one is hiding, and this object will be hidden. And here, for example, this one is a P element. That P element, HTML element, that will be selected. After that, that will be hidden using this hide method. Here, as we used already in the CSS class, this one is class. This dot means class, right? And class name is test. That element will be selected, and that selected element will be hidden. And here, class name is test. If we are using this hash character, then that means that is ID name here. Following one is the ID name. Thus, ID name test. That element will be selected, and that will be hidden. And as we observed already, this jQuery uses the CSS syntax to select elements, as we learned already in the CSS tutorial. And this one is explaining a little more in step-by-step approach. And in the previous example, probably you may observe this one. $document ready, and some function like that. Here, this means document is selected, document element that is selected, and that the HTML document, that file, that to the browser, that will be brought. And if that document is downloaded, for example, and that is ready after downloading, after loading, that is ready, that is event. If that event is happening, that means all documents that is downloaded already, then this ready event is happening, then this function will be executed. After making sure that document is ready, and then this method function will be executed. And the main purpose of this is to prevent any jQuery code from running before the document is finished loading. Thus, that should be ready first. Then we can apply this function execution. And some examples. If that document is not fully loaded, for example, trying to hide an element that is not created yet, because that document is not ready, then that will be wrong and some error will be happening. This is another example of a wrong trying. This is a kind of error. Trying to get the size of an image that is not loaded yet. Then this one is generating some strange error because that document is not ready yet. Thus we should make sure that document should be ready. How we can check? It's this one. Document that should be ready. That is event. Thus always we should use that. And simply we can use only this $sign instead of this full $document.ready. We can omit this to make it simplified. Simply we can use this $sign. Right after that we can use these parentheses like this. Those are same. This is simplified one. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. And this one is explain a little bit more about the selectors, because the selection is important. And jQuery selectors are one of the most important parts of the jQuery library. And jQuery selectors here, and as we learned already in the CSS selectors, similarly we can apply. Here, all selectors in jQuery start with the $sign and the parentheses like this. And we look at more detailed explanation here, and more detailed explanation and examples. Here, element selector. This is element, p element, p HTML element. That element will be selected in this way. Dollar and these parentheses and these double quote. We can select this p element like this. Okay, as I mentioned already, this one is checking whether that document is ready or not. If that is ready, then this event is happening, and then this one will be executed after confirmation of that loading of that document. And this one, button element is selected, and this click method will be applied to that. Then this function is executed. Then also this one is checking. This p element is selected and hiding that p element, as we observed already. Let's look at more in detail here. Here, as we learned already, h2 element here and the two p elements here, and finally button here. And if I am clicking that button, if that document is downloaded and that is checked already and that is ready, then this one will be executed. Here in this function, this button is selected. Does this button, this object, and if this object button is clicked, then this function will be executed. Here p, those are selected, those are p elements, two elements here, those are selected and they will be hidden like this. Okay, after closing some open tabs, let's continue. Here another example using ID name. Here if we are using, as we learned already in the CSS and in the HTML tutorial also, this hash, this character means following one is ID name, Thus this is using the ID attribute. And here, let's look at this real example. Here, the other side exactly the same. Okay, this one, as I mentioned already, I can, okay, let's learn this one first. Click, okay, I click, then one paragraph will be gone away. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, this one. And as I mentioned, I explained already, this one can be omitted to simplify. Then still we can get the same result like this. Thus we can omit that. Documents are ready that can be omitted. Only this dollar sign can be used. Okay, let's start from the beginning. And here button is this one, and here that is clicked here. Then this function will be executed here. ID name test. ID name test is this one. ID name test. That will be selected. This is another paragraph. This one. And that will be only that will be selected and hidden using this hide method, like this. In this way, we can simply implement more advanced operation and function using JavaScript library that is called jQuery library. And also similarly, we can use this class name instead of previous hash character. We can use this dot character. Then that means that is the following one is the class name. And similarly, we can hide. Here, instead of the ID name, this one is class, and we can use this dot, and the result will be same. But here, that is not unique. There's two elements related to this class name test. They are using class name test, because they are hidden at the same time. And this one is showing more examples of jQuery selectors. First, this asterisk means selecting all elements, like this. This one is selecting asterisk, that means selecting all elements, all HTML elements. This one. Those are gone away, like this, even including that button. Those are selected, all elements. Thus, this asterisk means all elements for selection. Those are selected. And this means current object. I am clicking, then that is the selected current this object. And this one, the click button. And as we learned already, p.intro means p element. It's the class name intro will be selected. And here, if we are using this colon first, in that case, we are selecting the first p element. And here we are using in this way, and the first error element will be selected, and we can apply some method. And if we are using this file first child, then first element of every UL we can apply. We can select anyhow, and we can apply some method to those selected elements. Okay, this one is a little bit more special. This one is selecting all elements return href attribute. This one square bracket, that is for the attribute. And here attribute href. Here attribute name href will be used to hold this URL, and that href, this one, also this one, and those are selected, and those are this one here. Those are selected and they will be hidden like this. Thus, please keep in mind to select that H reference. We are using the square bracket. And also this attribute target equal underbar blank. Here attribute target, that is underbar blank. The outside is double quote, thus inside there should be a single quote like that. We should be careful about that. And we learned already. And in this way we can apply. Thus, please keep in mind the square bracket is being used for this attribute. Similarly, this one is exclamation mark, that is not, that means not equal to. And this colon button means select all button elements and input elements of type. Also type is button. Okay, this one is selecting. Let's look at this one. Here button, that is selected, and that is hidden. And in the table row, we can select even row. In the table, we can apply some method to that selected object here. Here we are using this table, and here we are selecting table row even. Even means that is starting from 0, 0, 1, 2. Thus this one is even, this one is even, this one is even. We can apply this method. This one is CSS method. Here we can provide this background color property and property value. Background color, that is yellow. Then we can apply this, and we can see the color here. Okay, similarly, others you can refer to them. Okay, also we can use this one is some minor comments about the using of that JavaScript file. This one is external JavaScript file. Even this jQuery is file, and minimize the compressed one. And similarly, we can use other JavaScript library, and many others JavaScript library we can include in this way. Okay, you can try others. Okay, this is explain about the jQuery event method. And we learned already about the event handling. Depending upon some event, like the click event, we can remind one click, and we can remind some event handling codes in the JavaScript tutorial, and we can implement a little bit in easy way using this jQuery library method. What are events? And we learned already, thus we can skip that. And this one, for example, moving a mouse over an element, or selecting a radio button, or clicking on an element, those are all events, different kinds of events. Sometimes key press or mouse button pressed, depending upon that event, we can provide some action using this jQuery method and JavaScript codes. For example, this is mouse events, click, and DBL click. This means double click, and mouse enter. Using this mouse device, there may be some events, and those events are like this: mouse enter, mouse leave. In terms of keyboard of your computer, of your smartphone, key press, key down, key up, usually on the PC and keyboard. Think about it. And POM events, think about the POM element. Then you can select the submit button, or you can change in the input entry, and you can provide some input, and you can change that input default value, initial value. You can change that depending upon that event. We can check that event, and we can provide some event handling code. Focus. If my mouse is focusing, that means my mouse is put on that entry, input entry, then that means that is focused. And if my mouse is out of that entry, input entry box, then that is called blur. And then blur event is happening in that case. Anyhow, we'll look at later. About document window events, depending upon the loading or unloading, that event is happening, load, unload. And when we are expanding the size or reducing the size of the window, then that is generating this resize event. Depending upon the scrolling, that event is happening. Okay, depending upon that event, we can apply some event method, and how this one is the syntax for that. If we are applying to this P element, and if that is clicked, then we can check, and then we can apply some function. That execution will be executed after clicking. Okay, let's leave this one first. To assign a click event to all paragraphs on a page, we can do this way. Selecting first. This is the select. Which element we are applying this click, we are checking. And after that, if that is clicked, then we can apply. And here we can define what should happen when the event fires. And we must pass a function to the event in this way. And this one is explaining jQuery event method. Those are used commonly. And as we learned already, this one is probably most common event method. And this one is $ document ready. This one is checking that loading is completed. If that loading is completed, then this ready event is happening. Then the code inside of the parentheses will be executed. Click method. This one is attaching an event handler function to an HTML element. And the function inside of the parentheses will be executed when the user clicks on the HTML element. And this one is the example for that. As we learned already, this one is repeating again for more explanation. Here, if that is ready, then this function will be executed, and this one is checking that selected element. If that is clicked, then this one will be the selected one will be hidden like that. Okay, after closing some open tabs, let's continue. Okay, this one is first one. Probably we didn't look at this one before. This is double click method, and this method attaches an event handler function to an HTML element, and the function is executed when the user double clicks on the HTML element. Let's look at this real example. Instead of click, this one is using double click. Thus, we should double click. Okay, if I'm clicking once, then it is not executed. If I'm clicking twice, like this, then you can see, then this hidden, that the operation is happening. Hiding is happening. Okay, mouse enter method. This one is attaching an event handler function to an HTML element. Similarly, but the method name is a little bit different depending upon that event. This is mouse enter event, handling that. This one is event handling method. And mouse leave, when our mouse is leaving. Okay, let's look at this. My mouse is leaving, then you can see this alert statement. This one, by you leave P1. This one is P1 element. If I am entering, but if I am this one checking the leaving, thus my mouse is leaving, then it is showing that alert statement like this. By you now leave P1 like this. Mouse down, similarly, and the mouse up. Okay, let's look at this one. Those are very similar, opposite action. And let's look at this. My mouse click. After that, my mouse is up. Then you can see, in that case, that is checking that mouse up. And mouse up over P1, then it is showing that alert statement. However, okay, this one is the method. This one is taking two functions, and this a combination of the previous mouse enter and the mouse leave methods, like this. This one is specifying two functions here, one, and the second one, this one. And the first one is when I am entering, that is a kind of hovering. And then now this one is mouse enter, then it is checking that you entered P1, and that alert statement is shown there. And if I'm leaving, then another one, this one, by you now leave P1, thus finally that will be shown here. Okay, I'll enter again. Okay, I'll turn around like that because I am going in this way, then I am invoking that event. Thus you entered P1. Okay, I am leaving already, thus this one is showing that alert statement. And focus. Focus means my mouse is going into that form input area, this area. I am clicking in that input area, then that is called focusing. And the focus event is happening. If I am leaving there and if I am clicking in other area, then that is called blur. That blur event is happening. When I am going out and clicking other area, then blur event is happening. Again, I am clicking this one, then that is focused. If I am clicking this one, that is focused. Then focus this one, that is event, that focus event is happening, then this event handling function will be executed. That object, that selected, that object itself, that this using the CSS method to change that style. Background color will be changed to yellow, and when that is blurred, then it will be back to the green like that, because that is blur event. And due to this CSS method, this is jQuery method. Simply we can use this one. Original JavaScript built-in method is not providing this one, but jQuery is providing this convenient method. Thus we can use simply in this way. And this is jQuery selector. This object is selected, and after that we can apply this method. And I explained already blur, and that is the opposite of the focus. And if we are losing focus, then that is called blur. And blur event is happening. Okay, another method that is also very convenient. On method. The name is very simple, right? Simple on method. That is attaching one or more event handlers for the selected elements. Here, simply we can use this one to attach this click event handling code. And this is very convenient. Let's look at this example. Here, click event can be used in that way. And this is the click event name. Instead of other previous click method, this one is click event name, and that is using this function that is event handling code, like one click event handling code in the previous example when we are learning about on click attribute. On-click attribute, that name is HTML attribute, but here we are using jQuery method 1, and this is the event name, and this is the event handling code. Thus in this way we can implement this kind of hiding operation. Also, we can use many events if we are attaching multiple event handlers to a P element, and in this way. But let's look at this real example. Here, let's look at this one first. This is very simple. Paragraph here, just a single, and we can apply many events here, multiple events, 3 events, using this on method, that is jQuery method. And before that we should select, and the others, this one can be eliminated. Simply we can get the same result. And here P element, we can attach many event handling code here. Mouse enter event, mouse leave event, click event. Depending upon that, the style will be different. When my mouse is entering there, then you can see the color will be light gray. Let's remove this light to make it clear in terms of the color. And also this light blue instead of that, how about blue? And this one, okay, you can change this one also. Instead of yellow, how about red color? If I am clicking, then this click event is happening. Then the background color will be changed to red color, like this. If I am leaving, then that is my mouse event is happening, then the color will be changed to blue. If I am entering there, then this event, my mouse enter, that event is happening, and this background color will be changed to this gray color like that. Thus, in this way, using this on method, we can attach many or multi events to the same element. Okay, let's move to the next. Okay, let's look at this menu part. And we just completed that first jQuery tutorial, and that is until here. And these jQuery effects that will be discussed in next lecture, lecture number 13, part B. And I'll wrap up today's this lecture here.